Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are in the book of Psalms. We're in Psalm 132 now. This is a psalm of ascent, a song of ascending from the valley up to Jerusalem and to the worship at the temple. This is on your way to worship kind of song. And it's all about how David brought the ark to the temple. Well, how does this apply to us as Christians? Well, what are we bringing to our worship might be a way of thinking about this. So first off, it talks about how the Lord remembered David in all his self-denial. He put things aside so that he could worship the Lord. Do we put things aside so that we can go to worship? Like our schedule, our work, maybe even our attitudes? What do we need to deny so that we can enter into worship with the Lord? He said he swore an oath to the Lord, made a vow to the Mighty One, and he said, I'm not going to enter my house, go to my bed, or until I find a place for the Lord, for a temple. Well, he swore an oath that was more than he could fulfill. And often we do this with the Lord. And what the Lord wants from us is worship and faithfulness, not necessarily the most grandest deeds we think are possible. But, the Lord honored David for his fervent faith. And as he talks about having a place of worship, they heard about David's oath, and we have the Ark of the Covenant down here, and they came upon it in the fields of Jaar. They found the Ark, and the Ark symbolized God's presence. The Ark was made out in the wilderness with Moses and the people wandering, but it was the seat of God's presence, a seat of both judgment and mercy. And so verse 8, arise, Lord, come to your resting place. And shouldn't that be our prayer too, is that when we enter into worship, into the sanctuary, that we would pray for God to come and be present. He is present. He doesn't depend upon us. Verse 9, may your priests be clothed with your righteousness, not there, but with God's righteousness. May your faithful people sing for joy, that the blessings of worship would come upon us. Then verse 10 is a prayer for the sake of your servant David. Do not reject your anointed one. Well, they're talking about the later kings, right? Verse 11, the Lord swore an oath. Okay, now the Lord's acting. The other one was David acting, the people acting. Now the Lord is acting. And he gives an oath. He gives a promise to David to establish his kingdom forever, right? We know of that. Verse 12, if your sons keep my covenant and the statutes I teach them, then they will sit on the throne. But we know that they don't. That this eternal covenant is not going to depend upon man. Right? And then he goes on, and now we have God's blessing, God fulfilling his oath and blessing his people. God has chosen Zion. He has chosen the church to be the dwelling place, right? This is my resting place, and I will sit enthroned on the praises of Israel. Verses 15 and 16, blessing the people. I will bless God's people with abundant provisions. Her poor I will satisfy. Her priests I will clothe with salvation. And then verses 17 and 18 look towards the Messiah. And here I will make a horn for David grow. I'll set up a lamp for my anointed one. This is Jesus Christ, right? And I'll clothe his enemies with shames, and his head of the anointed one will be adorned with a radiant crown. This is the picture of the Messiah. Hey, thanks, friends. Have a blessed day.